Hello my friends, and welcome back to Meerkat Musings. Welcome back to another one of my eclectic videos where I answer the prompt, are you superstitious? Now, to cut right to the chase, I generally speaking am not superstitious except on the occasions where I am, and this is where things get a bit perhaps silly. But there are certain things, for all that I have learned and for all that I believe and for all that I trust, there are certain things that I can't shake. And it's stupid in many respects. I think it's stupid. But nonetheless, there are certain things, certain quirks, shall we say, perhaps even, maybe it's a pattern of OCD in some ways that I can't shake off. So, for example, I don't go out of my way to avoid stepping on cracks in the pavement, but there are occasions where I'm a bit more mindful of that. If I tend to be encouraged, rightly or wrongly, if I see two magpies together, as opposed to the solitary, sorrowful magpie, shall we say. I have more personal forms of superstition, you might say. So, for example, when playing Football Manager, if I'm playing as the home team, then the team's name is on the left-hand side, and I'll put the mouse cursor on the right-hand side. And then if I'm the away team with the team name displayed on the right-hand side, I'll put the cursor to the left-hand side, because somewhere along the line I seem to believe that would provide a measure of luck. There's no factual basis for that belief. It's literally just a superstition that I fell into when playing Football Manager, and it actually doesn't bear any fruit whatsoever, but I still do it in much the same way that I can guarantee you there'll be fans of various clubs, teams, people who will go through certain rituals every single time there's a game or a match, because they believe somehow that it will provide them with good fortune. So you have a lot of these unusual quirks and I guess coping mechanisms, as it were. And I have my own. I absolutely have my own. I even do the thing, if I spill a bit of salt, I'll throw it over my shoulder. And again, there's nothing to that. There's nothing to it whatsoever. I know in my head that's a meaningless, pointless gesture, and yet it's not something that I can completely shake off in my heart, which is ultimately, as I say, very, very daft. As I say, it's a coping mechanism, isn't it? It's a means of trying to extract luck, shall we say, from the universe, and it doesn't actually, I guess, matter in any way, shape or form. There's no truth to these ideas. There's no facts to these ideas. What tends to happen with these superstitions is, at some point, somehow, once in a blue moon, something will happen, be it good or bad, and someone will associate that with something else that they've done, with a old wives' tale, with a superstition, and it kind of persists a bit more in the social psyche. It doesn't matter what else has been going on in the meantime. It doesn't matter how many times this is disproven, and it gets disproven a lot. It just happens to be on that odd occasion where it's proven right, overrides all the other examples. So, to come back to the original question, am I superstitious? Well, as much as I would like not to be, as much as I would tell myself in general terms that I'm not, I am. But it's not necessarily superstition, but it's not necessarily a supernatural belief as a result of this. It's more of an OCD thing in the hopes that if I follow certain conventions, it will somehow yield more luck, more good luck, better results, that kind of thing. It's entirely without basis, but let's be realistic here. Human beings are seldom, if ever, completely logical creatures. No matter what we might happen to believe or not believe, we will often find ourselves falling into certain emotional and psychological traps. It's what we do as a species. It's who we are. And it's just going to be, I think, the case forever, you know? I mean, I think it would be highly unusual for us to reach a point where we don't harbour some form of coping mechanism. At the moment, we call it superstition. We might call it something else in 100 years' time. But it's basically our brains playing tricks on us in the bid to provide us with some sort of comfort, some sort of assistance in our day-to-day lives, and you know, trying to find a way to make us feel that things are going to work out, a way to try and keep us positive, a way to perhaps scare us away from the negative, who knows. But that's where I stand, that's where I sit on the idea of superstition. There you have it.